When you talk about sectors, individual sector names, we have FMCG obviously that's leading the charts today and up 1% in trade as of now, led by gains coming in, whether you see in terms of HUL also seeing strong gains coming in. We have Dabur also seeing gains coming in as well. So keep an eye out on the FMCG space today. Yeah, that is what is buzzing in trade. Other than that, we have Nifty Energy. We have the IT space, which is managing to hold on to gains as well. While sectors which are losing, we have media, PSU banks, metals, which are trading in the red, and pharma and realty, mild bit of a decline coming in on that front over there. But yes, that's all in all the update coming in terms of, specifically sector wise. But, individual names in the Nifty 50, IndusInd Bank among the top losers. Tomorrow will be the earnings. Tata Steel also among the top losers today. While gainers, obviously L&T, HUL, HCL Tech, Tata Motors among the top gainers in the Nifty 50, Shrishti.
Okay, so that was how the markets are up to right now. But let's move on and on to the buy now, sell now lens today. We're going to be focusing on the banking sector because 2022 clearly belonged to the banking names because Bank Nifty gave returns of almost 17%. But coming 2023, we have a lot more triggers, and the recent trigger is definitely the quarterly earnings. Interestingly, Morgan Stanley has come out with a note on Indian banks where they believe that 2023 will be a strong year for their earnings, and the house is positive on the banking names like ICICI, Axis Bank, Bank of India, and even Bank of Baroda. Let's get in more details on this particular note from the Morgan Stanley. Pankaj is joining us with more details. Over to you, Pankaj.
Morgan Stanley has, given a continuation of their report as far as 2023 outlook for banking names is concerned, and they believe that it's going to be a strong year for the banking space in India, and it will be led by earnings growth. That's essentially their key strategy. Their strategy is that one should have a barbell approach, which means forward in towards a better outcome, a mixture of, mid-cap to small-cap banks. They believe that earnings will show resilience and it will lead to better growth. They believe there are selective, SOE banks which actually could do particularly well. Mid-cap banks is also something which they have included in that. Credit cost, according to them, at least for the next 6 to 9 months, will remain on the lower side. And as you pointed out, they, as of now, are pointing out towards a mix of large and the mid-cap names like ICICI Bank, names like SBI, make it to the top buy list as far as Morgan Stanley is concerned. Credit demand is expected to be strong. Credit cost is expected to be low. All these banks have got their strategy right as far as digital and growth is concerned. And that's why they believe banking is a sector, especially the larger ones, to be overweight on.
Okay, thank you so much for that update coming in on the banks, Pankaj. But, to talk more about this, what should we be expecting from banks going forward? Let's bring on board our experts for today. We have Rajesh Agarwal joining with us as well as Kunal Bothra. Good morning to both of you all. And, Rajesh, I'm going to come to you. Now, obviously, Morgan Stanley is saying that they are expecting 2023 to be a strong year coming in for the banking space, especially in terms of large banks. ICICI Axis is what they've named in terms of the private banks, and in the public, they've named BOI as well as BOB. What is your view coming in on the banking space? HDFC surely managed to report a decent number coming in this time around, an inline set of numbers. What are you viewing in terms of overall the banks going forward then?
Good morning, Srishti. Good morning, Vinny. Good morning, Kunal. We are very bullish on banking space as such because, as we all know, government has constantly been telling that 5 trillion economy, and if economy has to go to 5 trillion, that cannot go without bank because any economic growth has to be backed by banking sector as such. And as far as banking sector's performance is concerned, there has been improvement in asset quality. The corporate loan book have gone up, operating performance has gone up, and the recent notification about increasing the tenure of CEO and MD of private sector banks to 10 years from 5 years is again a positive point because that will help PSU banks to retain talent. And we should not forget that there is a huge valuation gap between PSU and private sector banks. So although private sector banks are also doing well, but we believe that public sector bank is going to outperform. One, because of their asset quality being improving, NCLT cases are being there, so that there is a good amount of recovery. Credit growth is there. Credit cost has gone down. On every parameter, the entire banking industry is doing very well. We should not. The Q2 numbers were very good. Q3 numbers, whatever has come, be it HDFC or Federal Bank, we have seen numbers going beyond expectation. Even smaller banks like Bank of Maharashtra give very good numbers yesterday. we are very bullish. But as far as some names are concerned, I think in the private sector space, Kotak has not performed as other banks have performed in the private sector space. So we would be bullish on Kotak and IndusInd Bank. And in public sector, we would go with Bank of Baroda and Bank of India.
Okay, so those are the picks coming in from Rajesh between private and public sector bank. He would like to go with public sector banks, and in that he shared his picks as well. But coming to you, Kunal, clearly Morgan Stanley has made his recommendation in terms of all those large cap names. But my question is, would you also go with public sector banks for the rally we can see continuing in 2023? What's your view on that? And also from the space as well, which category of stocks, be it large cap or small or mid cap, will be your preferred picks?
Good morning, Srishti. Good morning, Vinny, as well as Rajesh. We look at this more of a sentimental perspective. Now, the more disbelief a sector goes into when there is a major rally which has already seeped into the stocks, the more chances that the continuation would probably happen into those sectors in terms of prices. Now, we've seen over the last 5 months, on an average, most of the PSU banking stocks giving returns somewhere closer to 50% to maybe even 100% as well for most of the PSU banking names. Now, even in this last 5 months of price action, even after that, there is a lot of disbelief that possibly this may just be a very, a flash in the pan kind of a rally, and these stocks may get into a corrective phase pretty soon. But on the other hand, large cap names like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, etc., these stocks have gone through a time-wise as well as a price-wise correction for them. So that generally indicates that the markets are tilting into favor of PSU banking names, and purely as a momentum play, I would look at this sector as a strong buy even from current levels. Now, the picks from the PSU banking stocks will probably depend on the risk appetite of individual. For someone who's looking at slightly lesser risk appetite over here, they can go with the traditional Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, and maybe an SBI as preferred bets. But for someone who has a higher risk taking capacity, then I think going into the mid-cap arena where betting on the likes of Indian Bank, Union Bank, etc. could also turn out to be a good bet.
Okay, Kunal, thank you so much for that. That was the update coming in from both our experts. They do like this banking space. Kunal said momentum will be expected to continue in the banking space as well. And even Rajesh does like the banking space as well. So keep an eye out on those picks that they've given out as well. But on that note, let's slip into a very short break, viewers. Don't go anywhere, because we'll be coming back and we'll be taking your stock-related queries after the short break.
Kickstart your mornings with
NATO is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Before we get started with all your stock related queries, let me go across to Rajesh and understand, how an investor actually should be protecting themselves from the market ups and downs. Sometimes the market is very subdued as well. There's nothing much happening. Range bound markets. Rajesh, how should one as an investor look to protect themselves?
See, there are times I have found that people follow herd mentality. Like every day evening, they start watching who bought what, who sold what. And they find out that Mr. A has bought this, ABC fund has bought that, and the next day morning they take their call and buy those things. But these kind of herd mentality is very disastrous, I would say, because every individual or every fund house is different in terms of financial goals, risk appetite, or even cash flow. So it's better to apply your logic and take a call based on your risk appetite, on your financial goals, rather than following somebody else. So I think that can be a better strategy to apply logic and follow some discipline before taking a call. Especially in these kind of market where we seeing that one day there's 500 points gain, the other day 500 points loss, and sometimes intraday these things are happening. So it's better to be better to apply some logic and be disciplined before taking a long call.
Okay, so that's the advice coming in for all the retail investors looking for long term. But let's kickstart taking all your stock related queries. Viewers, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and as well as Twitter as well. You can post your name, your stock related query, which stock you have invested in, the quantity and the time horizon you want to stay invested as well. And on the screen as well, we'll be flashing our WhatsApp number so you can connect with us there as well. So let's kickstart taking all your stock related queries. And the first question that we have is from Venkat Rao. Kunal, let me take it up from you because though he's a long-term investor and he has already invested in two counters. Firstly is Amara Raja Batteries. He entered 100 shares at a price of 743, and the other one he has is Bata India. He entered this counter at a price of 1930. Currently at a loss in both of these counters. What will be your advice in any price that he should be looking to average out?
So I would suggest not to average out Amara Raja Battery. I would believe that the stock had a fantastic setup, I would say, from the month of November when it rallied from sub 500 levels to as much as 650, 660 mark. The stock or the rally stalled at the 660 level. In fact, my sense was at that point of time that the stock is going through a price correction, consolidation, probably getting ready for a breakout. But the reversal in the last 1 month for Amara Raja Battery from the 660 levels has changed the perspective as such, and the stock is now seemingly getting into another leg of downtrend for itself. So would suggest to avoid the stock at current levels. But then the second stock which you mentioned, I think that's the name which you should be looking to average as such, which is Bata India. I would probably believe that the stock is closer to a major support at the 1500, 1550 mark. So that if you're looking to average one stock out of the two, that should be Bata India.
Okay, let's move on to the next query. And Rajesh, this one is coming in for you. We have Dhananjay, who wants to know your fundamental view coming in on Bajaj Finance and Finserv. For the next 5 years, which one would be the better one from the Bajaj twins that?
See, both are equally good, I would say. Somebody looking for a momentum play or short-term time horizon, I think Muthoot is a better call. But for a long-term perspective or investment horizon, Bajaj Finance is good. Recently, we have seen a good amount of cut in the Bajaj Finance stock price because the AUM growth was not up to the mark, or rather lower than expectation. But on other parameters, be it customer acquisition, be it volume of business, I think it has surpassed every expectation. And this kind of cut at around 5,900 odd rupees is giving a good opportunity to add for a short-term target of 6,300, and a medium to long-term target might be much higher, 6,800, 6,900 for a 1 year time horizon. So one can go along on Bajaj Finance.
Go along on Bajaj Finance, but the time horizon should be 1 year. Should be looking at 6,300 as your near-term targets. Moving on, the next one is coming from Veni and Kunal. She has query on two counters. The other one is Bata India. We have already discussed about it, but she's also holding Granules India at a price of 345. Currently at a loss. How do you look at the technicals? Will that be advisable to average out this one?
Well, yeah, you can look to average Granules. It's coming very close towards a major support. The price or the steepness of the price correction is also decreasing for Granules. So that could probably indicate that the stock is going through a time-wise correction. And typically when the stock enters into a time-wise correction, and if volumes pick up and the indicators rise, we expect the bottom formation to happen pretty soon. So I think Granules is something which you can look to average. Maybe if you're looking at a precise entry point to average it out, I think closer to 310, 312 could be a good entry point for you to average Granules.
Okay, this next query we have is coming in from Satya. Rajesh, this one is for you. This one is on Devyani Internationals. They are holding Devyani International at 175 rupees per share. They're looking to average it out at current levels. What's the medium-term outlook that you would give on this one? Should they actually average it out or wait for some time then?
See, averaging at that point of time is not advisable because last quarter numbers were not that good. But QSR as a space is doing very well. Devyani is one of them when you talk of valuation compared to other listed players like Sapphire or Jubilant Food, it stands on valuation parameters. But we should wait for this quarter numbers and see whether the same store sales growth has been there or not. And the worst part is the commodity prices have been high in the last quarter. I think there would be some amount of pressure in the stock after the results. Maybe 150, 145 would be a better level to average.
Okay, moving on to the next one, Rajesh, it could be a bit of a longish query. Actually, Suresh is looking to invest rupees 10 lakhs. He has some names in his mind where he is looking to invest. He wants your advice on that. He's looking to enter into MRF, 2 cement counters, Ultratech Cement and Shree Cement, Apollo Hospitals, Dabur, Paytm and Bosch. These are the counters that he's currently looking at. Would you advise him to put his money at this point in time in any of these counters, or else if there are any other stock that you have in mind, please do tell.
See, I would like to say that avoid Paytm. We all know the numbers have been bad. And there is no hope that it is going to do something in the near future. Other stocks, be it Shree Cement, Ultratech, Dabur, all are good for long term. You can add to them. MRF, yes, it's a very costly stock, and I don't think meaningful return would come into that. Rather, one should go for a retail investor, I would say. Go for other tire stocks, maybe a CEAT or a Apollo Tire would be a better play.
Okay. Kunal, this next query we have is coming in from Mukil, and this one is actually on Manappuram Jan futures. Now, Mukil from Bangalore has actually bought this yesterday, the futures at 125. Currently, it's going down a bit. Should they continue to hold or book losses for this one then?
I think, yes, the stock seems to have gotten to a sharp reversal. Yesterday, there was a case of a strong breakout for Manappuram Finance, but the stock closed at the lower point of the day, and today it's seeing a selling pressure, yet another day for itself. My sense is that give it maybe another day. In case if the stock holds up above the 115 mark and doesn't close below this on closing basis, there could be a possibility of reversal for Manappuram Finance. So I think 115 on closing basis could be a stop loss on the trade for you on the futures.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Rajesh, this one is from Venkat, and he has already invested in Britannia India at a price of 3,400. So currently he is sitting at a profit, but he wants to know, is this a good time to at least sell half of his quantity and enter in names like Avenue Supermarts or LTI Mindtree for the long-term perspective? What will be your advice?
See, if you're talking of long-term, I don't think there is any reason to sell Britannia because it's doing very well. The numbers have been good. The management commentary has been very impressive in the last quarter. And I don't think there are any reasons at this point of time to sell Britannia. If you want to add something, if you have cash flow, then you can add those stocks. But selling Britannia, I won't suggest.
Okay. Kunal, this next query we have is coming in for you, and this one is on AIA Engineering. Shri Kuntan wants to know the short-term view on AIA Engineering, and is it a good time to enter this one then?
Well, I would suggest to avoid. I think the chart seems to have gone into a bit of a corrective mode, and after 3 straight quarters of strong price rally, this is the first quarter where the stock is actually going into a correction mode. So possibly it may result into another couple of months of correction for the stock. So I would suggest not to be in a hurry to buy the stock at current zone.
Okay, not in a hurry to buy the stock at current levels, but okay, let's move on. And actually on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere because we will be continuing with your stock related queries after this break.
आग को फैलने से रोक.
Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to
Welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Taking a look at the market. So Nifty still holding 97 points of gain as of now, but for Bank Nifty, similar gains in terms of points, around 90 points of uptick coming in at 42,258 levels. But let's kickstart once again taking your stock-related queries. And Rajesh, the next one that we have is from Panduranga Rao, he's looking to invest in two counters. Firstly is Deepak Fertilizers and the other one is Poonawalla FinCorp. He wants to know that will that be a good bet to enter in both of these names for the long-term perspective?
On both of them. For Deepak Fertilizer, we have a 4-figure target. Poonawalla, almost 20-25% return the next 1 year is quite possible. Coming one by one, Deepak Fertilizer is doing very well, not only in chemicals, but also as fertilizer. They have announced some corporate action, demerging the companies and all. That would be again a value unlocking process. CapEx has been done and the demand is quite high. Valuations are quite good. As far as Poonawalla is concerned, on all parameters, the company is growing very well. When they took over the company from Magma, the AUM has been grown almost twice at this point of time, and the management is confident of increasing even higher. The company is doing very well. They recently sold off their housing finance business. So all things are good for both these companies. One can buy for a longer term horizon.
Okay. Rajesh, I'm going to come to you. This next query you have is coming in from Soumitra Joshi, and what's your view on SBI cards? If one has to buy or hold, would request for a medium-term view, that is a 1-year view, as well as a 3-year view, coming in on SBI cards. What is your growth projections coming in there?
See, card spend has been on a depressing note after when the lockdown was lifted. The way it has moved up, it's not doing that well. But as far as SBI card is concerned, the numbers have been good. They have good liquidity position, and with the parentage this company has, I think the growth is quite possible. And the best part is it's the only listed company in the card space. So I think one can go long on a staggered way. Maybe 750, 740 odd levels would be a good level to buy for a long-term horizon, for a target of maybe 850, 880 in the next 1 year.
The next query is on NLC India. Palakuru has bought 1,200 shares of NLC at a price of 77. The stock is now down from 95 rupees to 77 to 80 around rupees. Still at a mild profits. What will be your advice?
So yeah, it's a decent kind of a chart when I look at it from a slightly medium-term play. I would not say extremely short-term. But from the September-October lows when the stock was at 65 rupees, it moved up pretty well, giving returns of more than I think 40-50% in a span of 2 months. And then from 95 levels, the stock is going through a correction. Yes, in this last few days of correction, it seems that the stock has broken below major support at this 80 mark. But then the previous support for the stock would be closer to 76, 76.5. So I would suggest that you can hold on to your long positions, maybe keep 75 as a round figure support for the stock. If it breaks below this level, that's the point where you should look to exit. Till that time, you can continue to hold on.
Okay, Rajesh, this next query we have is coming in on Deepak Nitrite, and Hemanta Datta is holding Deepak Nitrite currently at 2,000 rupees per share. Should they average for the long term, or what should they be doing now?
One can add for long term. The phenolics business has been doing well. Anti-dumping duty was imposed on some of their products. That did well for the company. CapEx has been done. The numbers have been quite good. It has corrected a lot from the recent highs, but I think 2,300, 2,400 can be achieved in the next 6 months or so. So I think one can add this stock.
Next question is from Bhardwaj, and he's holding 70 shares of IEX at a price of 137. He's looking to buy more, or rather add more at current market price. What will be your advice? He's a long-term investor.
This is for me?
Yes, Rajesh, this one is for you.
Hello.
Yes, Rajesh, this one is for you. The question from Bhardwaj, he's holding IEX at a price of 137.
See, the company has been doing very well. It's one of the monopoly in the sector, I would say. They have some good contracts. Almost 97% of business goes to them. But recently, the company has shown good amount of correction at 139 rupees. I don't think there is any much more downside left in the stock. But since it's not doing that good, I won't advise buying at this point of time. Maybe if you're looking to buy some exchange-related stock, one can look at BSE.
This next query we have is coming in from Pawan. This one is on Bajaj Auto. They bought it at an average price of 3,741 rupees per share. What's your view coming in on this one? a long-term and a short-term view for this?
So it's frankly neither negative nor positive for Bajaj Auto. The stock has been absolutely sideways. We look at it from 2021 as well. The stock was almost at 3,600 mark, rallied up to 4,000, fell down to almost 3,200, and is now back at 3,600 level. So which means it's a stock which is just gyrated at this 3,600 mark, plus or minus 300, 400 points for itself. I would suggest that you can continue to hold on, but I don't expect any major fireworks in the near term. So if you're a long-term investor, then you can continue to hold on.
Okay, moving on to the next one, Rajesh. The question is from Lakshmi Nagini, and she is holding 5,000 shares of Gujarat Gas since IPO. She's a long-term investor, and going ahead, would you advise her to book profits at these particular counter? Because the maximum chart that I have on my screen, the stock has already given around 300% returns. So what will be your advice for her?
See, if there is no requirement of funds, I don't think there is any reason to sell their stock. The company has been doing well. Gas demand is going up. With the recent PNGRB notification, I think that's also positive for the company. One can hold with a medium-term target of maybe 520 odd rupees, but for a long-term investor, one can continue to hold. Since he is holding from a very long term, I don't think there are any reasons to exit the stock.
Okay, Kunal, this next one is ABFRL. This has been on your list for a while. Our viewer Sudarshan wants to actually know that, do you think now we'll actually start seeing a reversal coming in for ABFRL from the current levels then?
So I think last week or so I had flagged off ABFRL as one of the possible candidates of a turnaround because the indicators were deeply oversold. We flagged off a call, I think, at 268 levels for ABFRL. The stock is almost at 260 mark. From that zone, but I would still be not negative on the stock because of the oversold nature of indicators. However, on the upside, the stock has to break out of a confirmation about the 275 mark. So it came very closer towards trying to test the 272 plus mark, but then it's failed to break out about the 275 mark. I would believe that these could be good opportunities if you are a medium to long term investor to try and nibble into the stock price, but add on confirmation. Stronger, add on confirmation if the stock breaks past about the 275 hurdle.
Okay, moving on, Kunal, this one is for you. Firstly, Hitesh is thanking you for your view on Asian Paints. You must have advised him to exit the stock at 3,050 odd levels and then enter again at a lower price. So this bet has been beneficial for him. So he's thanking you for that. But now he wants to know your view on DMart. He's a long-term investor and wants to know, is this a good time to enter DMart as a level at this point in time? Your advice.
Thank you so much for that. So on DMart specifically, I would suggest to wait out for some more time. Now the only reason for that is because when stocks open with a sharp kind of a gap down after a results reaction, after months of consolidation prior to that, the tendency is that any kind of a minor rally which comes by into the stock price would be taken as a point to exit or reduce the holdings into the stock price. So my belief is that possibly in the next 1 month, you may see a pattern of lower highs and lower lows getting formed for DMart. So ideally, if you are looking to buy, then you may wait out for a point of sharp correction into the stock price and look to buy. And then if you're looking at this as more of a trading play, then on minor bounces, maybe 5% kind of an average bounce for the stock price from the previous swing lows should be an opportunity for you to exit. So not to hurry from a long-term play, from a swing trade, yes, you can look to buy on dips for DMart.
Rajesh, this is a stock which is a micro cap stock. This query is actually coming in from Sagar. Just want to know if you're tracking Just Engineering. Sagar wants your view for the long term. What is the view coming in there? They've already achieved their targets. But if you have any view, should they continue to hold this?
I'm sorry, we don't track this.
Okay, I believe, Kunal, you also don't track this as well, right?
Yeah.
So actually, I'm going to take the next query then, and we have that coming in from Mayank. And this one, Rajesh is actually going to come back to you. View on Gulshan Poly, currently holding 2,000 shares at 250 rupees. What is your view for the next couple of years?
See, I think one should exit this stock because the numbers are not that great. The valuations don't justify. It's a low volume stock, doing nothing on the markets. It's no point sticking your money here. Rather, switch to some better names.
Okay, moving on to the next one. This question is from Parvinder. He has query on 3 counters. Firstly is Polypleg, the other one is Bajaj Finserv. So Parvinder, we have already discussed about these counters. Let me take up the third one, and Rajesh, he is holding Garware High Tech. He bought these counters at a price of 853, and since then the stock is falling. So he wants to know, is there any change in the fundamentals, any news flow that you have been tracking, and for the next 1 year, can he hold this counter?
See, it's an exit. The numbers have been not that good. It ran up quite a lot despite valuation not justifying that. So I don't think in the near future there are any hopes for the stock to turn around. It's better to exit.
Okay. Kunal, this next query, and this one is coming in actually from Trilokchan, and this is on Crompton. They have 52 shares of Crompton at 338 rupees per share. What would you advise them to do now?
Well, I mean, I would suggest not to exit at current levels because it's already entered into the oversold territory. Maybe wait out for another couple of weeks. I think in a week or so, the stock would probably form a reasonable bottom. Now, the bottom could be formed with maybe another couple of candles of price reaction on the downside, and that could take the stock to maybe 300, 310 mark. So it's very difficult to preempt what level the stock would form a bottom, but because of the stance of the oversold nature of indicators, I believe over the next 1 to 2 weeks, a major bottom could be in place for the stock. So as of now, you can just hold on to the stock price. Averaging out you can do once the stock establishes this near-term bottom and starts to get into a recovery phase.
Okay, Rajesh, taking the next question from you, B.R. Bhatia entered into 2 counters. Firstly, it's Sequence Scientific, and the other one is Nippon Life. Both these counters he entered at a price of 300, so currently at a huge loss in both of these. He wants to know what will be your advice on these ones and where to make a switch in order to cover the losses.
See, both are a sell from our side. Sequence Scientific into animal medicines and all. I don't think the numbers justify the kind of valuation at this point of time. It may correct even further. And as far as Nippon is concerned, the AMC is doing well, but the numbers have been under pressure. Margins are not that good when compared to other listed peers. It's better to exit both of them. Somebody wants to switch on a valuation parameters. I think Deepak Fertilizers, LG Balakrishnans are some of the names in mid-cap space. Or in large cap space, one can have a look at Bajaj Finance or even Bajaj Finserv, the Bajaj Finance, any one of them, or HDFC Bank.
Next query, and this one is on from Isaac Verghese, and wants to know what would you suggest in terms of a current buying price for Westlife Food World or Westlife Food Development as we knew it before?
So the recent sell-off has been very, very intense and quick for the stock. I think from 778, the stock has reversed course almost on an everyday basis in the last 1 week or so, and it's now fallen almost 100 rupees from those 780 odd levels for itself. Now, even at current levels, looking at the chart patterns, I would suggest that there could be more weakness into the stock price. So, ideally in such kind of a scenario, you have to wait out for a point where the selling stops, the prices starts to consolidate, and the volumes start to recede or ebb off. Now, that could probably happen in a couple of weeks for Westlife. Very difficult to call in, but then I would suggest to wait out for some more time before you start nibbling or entering into the stock.
Okay, Rajesh, taking the next one from you, Arvind Reddy has bought Samvardhana Motherson 150 shares at a price of 68 rupees. So currently at mild profits, but we all know that this stock in the Autopack is one of the big underperformers of 2022. So going ahead, any scope of recovery in the stock price that you are looking out for, and should he exit this counter or hold on?
Depends on the time horizon. In the short term, medium term, I don't find any reason to believe that there would be some miraculous upside in the stock. But for a longer term horizon, we are very bullish based on the auto numbers. This company has more exposure to international markets, and we have seen pressure from there. So once that is taken care of, because we have seen chip problems going away at this point of time, logistics has been solved, raw material prices have gone down. So it's just a matter of time when this stock starts performing. But you have to keep a time horizon of 12 to 18 months or even larger to get some meaningful return. So it depends on your time horizon whether you want to continue or not.
That's The advice coming in for Samvadna Madasan. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries and experts also. Please hang on.
Reduce cost.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing.
Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it going with your stock-related queries. And Kunal, I'm going to come to you with this next one. This one is coming in for Cochin Shipyard. Anubhav from Bangalore has 50 shares of Cochin Shipyard at 615 rupees per share, 615. So, should they continue to stay invested in this one or exit the stock, or what is the view for this one?
Well, I would suggest to continue to hold on to the stock price. Now, I was actually looking at the charts for Cochin Shipyard some time back, and then from the sub 300 mark, when the stock bottomed out couple of months of 2020, the first couple of months of 2022 to 650 level. So the rally was almost 100% plus for Cochin Shipyard. Now the correction which has happened from the 600 plus mark has been an exact 50% correction or a retracement for Cochin Shipyard, which means if you've bought at recent prices, the stock is currently at a major retracement support. Maybe it could fall by another 50 odd rupees just to try and retest the previous swing support, but the probability of the stock holding on to this support is pretty much high. So it's pure risk reward play at current levels. The stock is not overbought as what it was maybe 5-6 months back. And I think at current levels where the indicators are a bit neutral, I think you can continue to hold on as well as add.
Okay, Rajesh, the next question is coming from Leon and he wants to know the advice on two counters. Firstly, is Tata Power. He bought 1,000 shares at a price of 231. On this one, he wants a short-term view. And the other counter he bought was Geojit Financial, entered near about the current market price. So what's the future of that?
See, Tata Power, I would just suggest to increase your time horizon, be in the stock for the next 2 years and it will give you good return. Company is doing very well, large capacity, and not only in conventional but in non-conventional power. They have recently sold some stake into the renewable energy business. It's doing very well, but you have to give some time to the stock. Maybe 12 to 18 months should be the minimum, I would say. And as far as Geojit is concerned, I would say one should try to exit at higher levels in the stocks. If you are sitting in some profit, book profits, switch to some other better NBFC names, maybe AB Capital or a Bajaj Finserv, which we talked some time back, or a Poonawalla would be a better choice.
Okay. With that, let's get started with the rapid fire and the guests do know what to do. So Kunal, starting with you, Bank of Maharashtra is the query coming in and PNB Bank. Now KR Valan is holding both these shares. Bank of Maharashtra at 28 and PNB at 40. Should they continue to hold average or book profits?
I think they should continue to hold both of these stocks.
Okay, Rajesh, Swati is holding Trend, so currently at a 10% loss in this one. So should she book loss in Trend and rather buy PNC Infra? What will be your advice?
You hold Trend. It will give good returns in the near future.
Kunal, this next query is coming in from Aman Soni. This one is on Titan. Is it a good time to enter Titan? And also, is it a good time to do SIPs for Titan then?
I think it's an extremely good time to enter into the stock, and specifically if you're looking at SIP, which means your time frame is long term, I think it's again a good strategy as well as a good stock.
Okay, Rajesh, Padmasree Rao is at a 15% profit in Mahindra Holidays. Good time to book profits and rather enter into M&M?
Perfect choice. I think one should definitely book profit in Mahindra & Lada, switch to M&M.
Okay. Rajesh, coming back to you, we have Muthu, which is bought Rainbow Children's at the IPO, is making a profit there. Should they accumulate more for the long term then?
No, I think one should book profit. In the same sector, you have some good names. Maybe a Shalby or Apollo Hospital can be a good buy.
Okay, Rajesh, Sandeep is at a huge loss in his investments for Nureka, bought at 799 rupees. What will be your advice?
Exit.
Okay. Kunal, this next one is coming in on DV's Lab from Vaibhav. DV's Lab, they bought at 3,550 rupees per share. What should be the target price for this one and should they add at current levels?
I would suggest not to add at current levels. You can hold on to your existing quantity, but only around 3,200 mark is where you may look to average.
Okay, Rajesh Shankar has invested into Waaree Renewables at an average price of 400. Do you track this one and would you be able to advise him?
Waaree Renewables, right?
Yes.
One can continue to hold.
Kunal, this next query is coming in from Raghupati Gopal on SBI. They're holding 700 shares of SBI at 206. Would they reach a target of 650 anytime in the medium term to long term for SBI?
Yeah, very much possible. And I think you've been holding on for SBI since last many years. So I think congratulations on that. I would suggest to continue to hold on SBI even from a near to medium term.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time to wrap this edition of Rapid Fire as well as Buy Now, Sell Now. Rajesh and Kunal, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and helping all our viewers with their stock-related queries. But with this, it's a goodbye from me and Winnie as well. Thank you so much for watching.
आग को फैलने से रोकना.
You're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees, Right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money, it's not impossible. It could be a challenge. With each passing day, this market is becoming better, and with each passing day, this market is only telling you that if you've participated on every decline, you've actually made money.
ITC's credo is nation first, sab saath bade. I would like to live this philosophy in whatever business we do.
We continue to be very well diversified across product lines. The general health of the company continues to be very strong.
We are a publicly listed company. We have access to capital. We have great brands.
No, beautiful question. Yeah, I can tell you, we believe that we'll be able to reduce costs.
ET is one of my favorites in the world. I'm a fan.
This is a very insightful question that you're asking, Nikunj, and almost seems like you were listening in on the deliberation the committee was doing. And you're absolutely right.
And if this cup of coffee is costing you 25 rupees right now, after 5 years, it may cost you 100 rupees. Predicting the market or predicting the short-term move in the market, well, that's always very easy. Predicting it right and making money,